Well, Chris Popper, I'm joined by Cornell Knight, the town manager here in Bar Harbor. We're in the town manager's office, and you've got the town has a very big election coming up, June 6th and June 13th. On the June 6th ballot is the financial town meeting and the question about parking, and then the question about the cruise ships. And that's going to be on June 6th, or the cruise ship question. Is that June 6th or the 13th?
June 13th.
Okay, so that's it. So it's important that people go to both and cast their ballots. So on June 13th is question 12 and then question 13. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about question 12.
Okay. On June 13th, there's a number of ballot questions, many related to parking, and then 12 is the new Shoreland Maritimes District. For many years, the town and the state have had discussions about moving ferry operations up to the ferry terminal. In 2011 and 12, we had a consultant do a study, feasibility study, to see that it could work up there. And about a year ago, the state approached the town saying that they wanted more clarification in our zoning ordinance that cruise operations would be permitted up there. So the planning board took a year-long undertaking, studying the issue, met many times, and came up with a one lot, which is permitted under DEP rules for maritime use, to create the Shorelands Maritimes District. And that will maintain the maritime use of the facility.
This is the former CAT.
Former CAT, yeah. That went out in 2010, I believe, yeah.
And this is basically people are voting on a change to the comprehensive plan.
No, this is a change to the land use ordinance. Okay. Yep. This will allow us to go to the next step and work on a business plan for the site.
If the vote does not pass, what happens?
Well, if 12 does not pass, then that means that it's not clear that cruise operations are permitted under our zoning ordinance. If Article 13, which is the citizens' initiative, doesn't pass, then most likely the state will just sell the property.
And to the highest bidder?
Most likely they'd put it on the open market. Now, we have an option agreement with the Maine Department of Transportation, which allows us up to November 30th to let them know whether we're going to purchase the property. And if we do decide at that time to purchase the property, then we would put warrant articles in place for a June 2018 vote.
Okay. To then spend the money.
Yes, to purchase it and close and own the property. Now, DOT paid $3.5 million for the parcel. They are offering it to us at $2.5 million. And if we have the business plan in place, which we would work on this summer and fall, and have that in place and a developer pretty much ready to go at closing, then they would lower the price to $2 million. Also in that option agreement is a clause that they insisted on, is that if Article 13 passes, then the option terminates and they will sell the property.
Okay. So, I mean, Article 13 is really the big thing there. You've got to, that has to be voted down by the citizens of Bar Harbor for you to have a chance to purchase it.
Right. To move on to the next step, we've got to have Article 12 pass and Article 13 be defeated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, assuming those two things happen, 12 passes, 13 is defeated, then it goes, as you said, warrants would be issued, and that would be then voted on when?
In June of 2018. Yeah.
So the earliest, at the earliest that cruise ships could be docked up by the old CAT terminal would be 2019, more like probably 20, wouldn't it?
Most likely if before then. In the business plan would look at Do we want to temporarily set up for tendering, or would we just keep tendering where we're at and develop the pier site? We will be doing a business plan this summer and fall, as well as public visioning sessions to see what the public would like to see in addition to the cruise operations up there.
Currently, the amount of cruise ships passengers that are allowed at any one time is controlled by whom?
The town council sets the passenger caps, and they are 5,500 in the shoulder seasons and 3,500 in the summer, July and August. And those haven't changed in 10 years. And we plan on having the business plan work within those caps.
So I mean, there's no ulterior motive that you know of that all of a sudden, should these two 12 pass and 13 be defeated, I mean, you're not going to allow 10,000 passengers in here at a day or anything like that.
No, that's not the plan. There's been claims that passenger amounts have increased every year exponentially, and it's not true. Last year in 2016, we had less passengers than in 2010. In 2017, we project we're going to exceed what 2011 was, which was the highest year. So, no, we plan to plan is to maintain the caps. Okay. And keep the revenues that we currently get, and avoid increasing the property tax in order to do the project.
So, any kind of project, so the money that you're going to spend, hopefully to purchase the lot, is that going to be bonded? Is that going to be how does that impact the taxpayers of our harbor?
Initially, that most likely will be bonded, but we'll flush that out more in the business plan. And the development costs to the site, we plan to use the savings that the cruise lines spend currently on tendering, which is a fairly costly operation, to use that revenue that they currently spend on tendering to be used for the development site.
Okay. Arguments are made that this then, how do you get people from the ferry terminal into the center of town? Because when people come to Bar Harbor, they're dropped off at one ferry, one wharf, the downtown wharf, and then they spread out, whether they're going on the charters or walking around. I mean, so they're in town. How do you get them from the ferry terminal in so that there's a continued economic impact for the town of Bar Harbor?
As part of the business plan, we want to have a good transportation shuttle system to go from the ferry terminal to the town, and consistent and regular and timely. So we can manage the people much better. If the ships are in port longer and you can manage their access to town and manage access to the park, we think this will complement well with the park's transportation plan that they're working on, which is going to manage access to the park. We had an economic impact study done, and 45% of the passengers wanted to spend more time here than the ship allowed.
But I mean, do you think that the cruise ships are going to stay in dock longer, or I mean, because those are pretty well set. I mean, in terms of their itineraries. I mean, they'll go here, and then they're either up to New York or to Nova Scotia, or maybe heading across the Atlantic.
Yes, their itinerary schedule, but the amount of time that they have to plan for tendering to shuttle, only 90, 100 people at a time, while if you're docked, access right from the time they land is it's much more manageable.
Okay. If somebody's coming from overseas, I guess Bar Harbor wouldn't be the first port of call.
No.
from overseas. So
they don't start here.
But I mean, even coming across, they're generally going to New York, so there's no customs or anything like that.
Well, if they come from, if they start their itinerary in Montreal, Quebec, and we're their first port of call in the United States, then they do have to clear customs. And we have 52 ships this year that need to clear customs, so because we are a Class A port of entry.
Okay.
And we don't want to lose that designation. It's at the ferry terminal because we have a lot of yacht traffic that also needs that too. So, but most do come from Boston, New York, and that doesn't need customs.
Okay. There's a lot of misconception. I know that the Islander is full of letters.
Mm-hmm.
Where can people find out the purchase and sale agreement? Where can people find everything if they want to do their own due diligence prior to the 13th vote?
Much of the information is online on the town's website. There was a story in the Islander yesterday clarifying a lot of questions that the supporters of 13 said there is no conflict with the town's number 12. They could work in harmony, and that's just not accurate according to our town attorney. There are numerous conflicts between the two. There was some claim that DOT bond money could not, there'd be restrictions on how DOT could get rid of it, but the property, and we talked to DOT, and they did not use bond money to purchase the property. So, you know, that's a moot point. So, you know, reading the papers and looking online, and certainly call my office and ask a question. Glad to answer it. We've had a number of forums to do it. I just spoke to the Rotary Club this week, and so plenty of information out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a contentious issue, no doubt. Mm-hmm. I guess the major thing is that there are two questions, and 12 for this has to, and let me go there then. Even if this passes 12 and 13, there's still another check on it, because then there's a warrant that has to be approved in 2018.
That's correct. Okay. 12 has to pass and 13 not. If they both pass, then
it's done.
Then it's done, and there won't be a property to control, so DOT will sell it.
Okay, and then they're going to sell it, and then it's out of the town's hands in terms of...
because the appraised value on the parcel is $6.5 million.
Okay.
So that's more of the price range that they would sell it, and we just couldn't move quick enough to do that.
If it's sold at $6.5 million, and a private developer goes in there, then that's taxable property.
That's correct, but it isn't.
But it may not be in keeping with what the plan is.
Right, and you know that we'd lose the waterfront access.
Okay.
You know, if it was private. Yeah.
All right.
So what we're saying is to vote for 12 because it'll improve the congestion in the downtown. It's better for the environment. You know, these ships that anchor out there, they run their engines to maintain their positioning for the tenders. So they'd be able to shut those engines off. And safety, you know, there's a lot of safety issues involved with tendering. It's why cruise lines don't particularly like it. We have had one crash out here 4 years ago at night. 93 passengers on board had to be rescued by other boats. So there is, you know, some hazards out there with doing the tendering.
And again, there's no plan to change the cap.
Right.
In terms of the passenger cap.
No plan to change the cap. The council has approved one day in 2018 that we will exceed the cap with a ship in the summertime. And the cruise ship committee is going to study what effects that increase will have. And they're working on how to measure the impacts. But since 2008, the caps have been in place.
Okay. Anything I've missed here?
No, I think that's good.
All right. The best thing we can do is stay informed. Go to the town website, read the Islander this week, and for goodness sakes, make sure you get out and vote on June 6th for the financial town meeting, and then on June 13th for the land use ordinance changes. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Check out all the other videos we have on the WDEA YouTube channel.